No,
Oh,
that's okay.
maybe this will work. You can
What?
tell that you're like the producer and I'm just like a ditz with the camera.
This will be the whole video. It's just you fooling around.
I'll be like, so I was Brooke, and we don't know why he used me for this show. Do I have earbuds? Yes, but we'll see how. Can we start this over and you pretend any of this happened, Joe? I'm
That's
sorry.
fine. I can hear you fine. It's fine. Yeah.
Are you just saying that because you're encouraging by nature?
Because
you're encouraging.
Yeah, kind of. I can be pretty critical too. Like if you worked with me like every day, and it wasn't just the things that like making movies, then like I can still be critical, but not in a mean way. I'll never be mean about it. But I can be like really nitpicky. So I really disciplined myself during the film not to be
Really?
nitpicky. Yeah. Yeah. So because I didn't want it. I wanted my standard to be high, but not so high that it like created this pressure for people, especially with crew. You know, we had crew and people who had never done anything before. So I couldn't, it's not like I was gonna be able to
Oh.
hold this high standard, because then and we had some casts that it was like their first kind of bigger thing. And so
Joe, you make them cry. If there's anything Simon Cowell should have taught the world was
right.
like, no,
Just to make them cry.
I've probably told Teresa 17 million times. I was like, he's that cool ass. But I mean it, because you did give a ton of creativity, but it's like, and a lot of people will agree on like everybody loved being a part of the movie and it was a huge blessing. But critiquing, like for me specifically, and I was so used to crying during the movie, as you can recall,
Yes.
that like you making me cry would have just been another Brooke
just
day.
part of it, yeah.
But no,
Yeah.
I think it's good for you to be honest, and you obviously respect your craft and what you do, and that's important, I think, in anything.
Yeah. Well, why did you like think way back? Not way back, just back.
How far?
And you were, 8, 10 years old. What kind of things did you do, and what were you hoping you would do when you were an adult?
So this is what's really funny. My dream when I was little, so I mean the first memory I can have of this was to be like an astronaut, like a legit moon beaming like astronaut. Until, well, it was that and be a singer, both of those things. So I sang.
I guess you could do those together.
It's on the same level, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
same education. Yeah.
very, very random dreams happening.
Yeah.
But I was like begging my parents, like, oh my gosh, send me to the space camp, like dream. And
like in Huntsville Space and Rocket Center,
like the legit space camp where kids can go and like.
I applied to space camp.
What, did you go?
No.
Well,
I don't.
You went for. You went further than me.
Oh.
No, and this is what's funny though. So my parents are crafty. My sister and I have been very blessed to have parents that have made sure that we had culture, made sure that we had opportunity and experience, because they're just awesome. Huge blessing. Yeah. But they're evil. And this is why. Because they were like, oh, you wanna go to space camp? Okay. Let's watch Apollo 13 first. Then, and like as a hypochondriac, like never cool with, I don't like death or any, like that stuff scares me. But I remember, like, I think that's the movie where the shuttle explodes, right?
Yeah. Well, it happens in real life.
Well, no, I know. My uncle used to work, he was like president of space station. So my uncle, my family tree is very interesting, but the point is, I didn't know you could die as an astronaut. And so I said,
Yeah.
well, we don't need to accomplish that dream. I'm just going to be a
Still sing.
singer.
Yeah.
So that's my astronaut
That's
story.
pretty
But I swear,
wise. Yeah. That's pretty wise of your parents to handle
well,
it that way because they don't want to crush your dreams. They want to just be like, well, you can't do that.
well, and I don't even know if the intent, it wasn't like an intentional malicious thing, but it's like, it's very expensive. And my
Yeah.
sister and I have always been in so many activities. So my parents were like, I mean, like, yeah, but let's see how much you want to do this, right? You
Yeah.
have a beautiful daughter, and like,
Yeah.
sometimes things are wanted more than
They
others.
just pop in their head. I'm gonna do this. Yeah. It happens to me all the time, even now as an adult. Well,
That's good though.
I applied to space camp. I remember filling out the application and
Yeah.
I'll have to ask my mom about it because I don't remember. My recollection of it was that either A, I didn't get in or we didn't have the money. I don't know which it was. You had to like write an essay and everything. Like it wasn't just like you
Oh, you
apply.
don't just like parents drop you off.
No, you like got to write an essay, and I remember working really hard on that. And I remember liking English and writing, and I felt like I was a decent writer, but I would really love to see that essay. I'm
That'd
sure.
be so cute. It'd be funny if you're like, so my writing did not improve. What's
Yes,
happening? Oh,
yeah.
that's cool.
So yeah, we did go to Huntsville Space and Rocket Center as kids and like just to visit, and that was cool. And then we got to bring our kids there a couple years ago to Huntsville Space and Rocket Center. So it was cool though. Yeah.
I will say though, I'm such a space nerd. Like,
Yeah.
I clearly don't want to die in space
Yes.
as an astronaut, but I'm such a dork. Like, I'm all about it. Constellations and like watching documentaries and like
Yeah.
movies. And I
What
just
was the
think it's
movie that was like it was it um George Clooney? Not the one that
oh,
just came out.
with a
Um
Sandra Bullock.
yes. What was
And
that
it's
called?
called Gravity.
Yes. That was
Do
so
you
good
want?
because there was just so much in like it just happened right there. There wasn't like this big space exploration thing. It was just everything was so
You experienced
close.
it with Sandra.
Yeah.
Did you have anxiety? I kind of had a panic attack in the movie theater. Like, I forgot it
Yeah.
wasn't real.
Oh yeah. Because the way they would shoot it was like you were inside of it and then like you would
Yes.
hear her breathing and like it wasn't just shot from a third party perspective. It really
Correct.
put you in the moment. So yeah, that was cool. Well, so then you wanted to be a singer, so then did the acting come just as a byproduct of that?
Yes, I think so because not I think so. Yes, because I was in musicals probably
Oh,
when I was started really young, up and through high school. And then I was always in choirs, so choir for my church, ensembles, different things like that. So like I love musicals. Like if you ask any of my friends, like I secretly think Broadway's gonna pick me up, but we're working on it.
yeah.
Um, and I
Maybe they'll
actually,
see this. Maybe they'll see the interview.
right,
Whoever powers that be. Yeah.
hashtag give Bridget a chance.
Yeah.
No part is too small. But no,
That's
my
one
parent actually,
hashtag.
right, it's a really long, see, this is
Yeah.
why I'm not cool, Joe. You
Yeah, I
know,
know.
when hashtags first started, if you go to my Instagram account, it literally, the first post, it's like, today is Monday and it's a beautiful day outside and chase your dreams. Like, and I was like, oh, hashtags mean things. I thought it was
Yeah.
like broken English.
Yeah. It can be. Yeah. So
But
you wanted to do Broadway, or you secretly still want to do
no,
Broadway?
my parents, once again, they're like, my dad was a principal for decades. My mom was a professor of psychology. And
Okay.
I'm like this child, my aunt is a nun. Anne Marie Jean, if you're watching, I love you. It's a very conservative Catholic family.
Yeah.
Then I bust out of the womb like a lunatic or an alien. And no, my it's funny though, because my parents actually like paid for voice lessons and dance lessons because I wanted to try out for CCM.
Yeah.
This is other things that people don't know about me, because I'm like, well, ask me and I'll tell you things. I went to, so my parents were like, well, sweetie, like they only choose like a couple people out of like millions, but you know what? We believe in you. Like it's the attitude of like, so they were like, okay, here's voice lessons, like go. So that didn't really work out, but Joe, I tried,
Yeah.
and that's all that matters. But
You don't
it
have
was a cool.
regrets. There's no regrets. You're
Yeah,
not
because
like wishing, oh yeah, what if I had done that? Yeah.
right. So I didn't even cry. Like the people that came were from like, there's people from Texas, there were people from all this stuff, and I'm just like, I just love performing, and that was, you know, but they
Yeah.
chose the right people, I'm sure, I'm sure
Yeah.
they did.
Yeah. Well, tell me, like you kind of alluded to it, kind of like conservative Catholic family. It sounds like they laid a great foundation for you with your faith. But then as you became an adult, like what did that look like for you?
um I'm very, very, very close with my family, my parents. It's a big deal. Instilling just a strong faith foundation. I love church. I Every Sunday, that's like a
Mhm.
must. Every morning I wake up, I have my little Bible app. Like every your first 15 minutes of the day is like crucial. They planted the right seeds in me, and I've just now I think that I ask them more questions,
Yeah.
but they've always given my sister and I just really kind of hands off too.
Yeah.
Like they might not always agree with everything, right? You're a parent and you want the
Yeah.
best for your kid, but they've always been honest.
Yeah.
They've never tried to just be my best friend. They've always been like, we're kind of here to like guide you and
Yeah.
pray that you don't go to prison. Like
Yeah. It's
that's
about all you can do
dramatic,
as a
but
parent. Yeah. Speaking of parents, Brooklyn, what you need, sweetie?
I don't think that I want this
Brooklyn.
presentation to work because none of the things I'm putting in.
Try a different outlet and make sure it's plugged in really well. Yeah. Okay. Bring Marley with you. She came crawling, army
She's so
crawling in
cute.
behind me. She's
At
trying
least
to.
she respects what you do. She's like,
That's right.
Dad.
So she's trying to make cookies. So I want to encourage that. I don't. You went through that period of like trying to discover kind of what your passion was and what you're going to spend your time on, and it wasn't CCM. And so tell me some of the things that you do now that kind of give you life.
Well, I think that one way that I've always lived my life ever since I was little, like I knew that I would, whether it was like I'm going to be ultra famous or whatever people want these days, but I always knew that I would be in the acting, singing, modeling business. I just always knew that. That was
Mhm.
something that was like not a flighty thing. I was heavily into modeling for about 13 years. So after high school, it was just like, went to college, got my degree in communications because I always got in trouble for talking. And so I was like, well, how can we utilize this gift? And
Yes.
so I did that. I worked full time for a modeling and acting agency for about 8 years. So my mentality is always like kind of, oh, I could die tomorrow.
Yeah.
So I kind of live like that and make sure that I always pray for opportunity as long as it's nothing creepy. The last couple years, just really focusing more on the acting and singing.
Yeah.
So it's kind of, yeah, I don't know if that
Well,
answered.
it does. Yeah. What is like for you, what would be some of the rewards that you've seen from acting? Like, why do you do it, period? Like, and then what is some of the hard, like some of the harder moments you've had kind of pursuing those things?
I do it because I love it. I love being in front of people. I think acting is an art. I think music is an art. I think that creativity is beautiful. It just fills my heart with joy. I feel like we're drawn to certain things in our lives because we're meant to do it. Now, I don't mean like drawn to rob a bank. So like that's what you
Whatever
should
you,
do.
yeah, it's like whatever your truth is, man, just do it.
Yes. And it doesn't matter. Like it really doesn't matter. I think when people start, it's just about freaking do it. So I feel like I've always just like, I don't believe in fear. False evidence appearing real. I feel like at the end of the day, like if you want to do something, whether it's art or dance or photography, videography, it's all
Mhm.
beautiful. I teach little girls ballet at City Gospel, Gospel Mission. Um, oh
City
my God.
Gospel Mission. That's like the homeless shelter, but I think it's mainly.
Oh, so, right. But they also do a lot of charity. So it's called
Oh,
It's called Princess Ballet.
I'll
So
have to
it's
look at
like
that.
little girls. It's like I want to say less fortunate, but I hate saying that.
Yeah.
You have
Well,
kids.
just kids who may not have the opportunity to take private dance lessons.
I think it's important for um, kids to, I think, really be encouraged and learn self-respect, self-esteem, and it's crazy because a lot of that confidence that I have, and I think self-love.
Well, and I love how you acutely pointed out the reason why you do it is because of beauty, and that's not a trite thing. Like to me, finding great light in a scene that's like casting on three-quarters of your face and it's soft and it's highlighting features and those
Hmm.
kind of things are, it's not just like, oh, that's nice to look at, but to me, beauty is a deep thing that is like an interaction with God because it's like we that's why art has this like draw. It doesn't matter what kind of faith background somebody has or whether or not they're religious. It's like your soul was made to do it. And even people who are not doing artistic crafts, like acting or drawing, even as like a
Yeah.
plumber who has to be creative and come up with creative solutions, like to me, that's such a innate desire. And when we do it, we feel whole. And especially like you're doing with dance lessons and what we try to do with the movie, if you can instill that in others, like that, let's like bonus. It's like so crazy.
What's really important is to understand why you do something. And I
Yeah.
think you watch video and people are like, why did you start acting or why? And there's reasons to go into it. But if you're only doing anything for money, if you're only doing anything for validation or anything else, it's not ever going to work out the way
Mm.
that you would hope for. And
Yeah.
it's just not worth it. Like you're still going to feel you're reaching for validation that's not there. It's not real. We're all meant to do something fabulous with our lives,
Yeah.
you know? And with you, I just want to segue to you with the movie. Like, it was awesome. I've
Hmm.
been on plenty of stuff, worked with plenty of people, and like you're so professional and you're so humble and you're just good energy. And I'm huge on that. I literally, after we shot this movie, I had another opportunity right afterward with a short film, and I turned it down because it didn't feel right.
Tell
I know
me
that
about a scene or a moment that you remember that was just like cool for you.
I had a moment with Angel,
Hmm.
aka
Yeah, who played Charlie. Yep.
yes.
Yes.
And I knew that I was testing you. But I think it's like when you really you're in that moment and you're just,
Well, you were, yeah,
pour
without
out the
giving anything
emotion.
away.
Sorry.
Yeah, your character was really trying to uncover what to make of what's happened in her life. She's got things that are unexpected that are happening. that is not part of her plan, and she's trying to make sense of it, and uncover why this is happening. And I think what you brought out in that scene is being able to really see and feel like you're fine until you have to talk to somebody about the pain that's going on in your life, and you have to explain it, and it starts to set in. And I think we've all had some of those moments, and I've had those too. I remember several years ago, I was doing more commercial work, which I loved. It was fun, and I was doing way too much, and I was behind on delivering a couple of things to clients, and it wasn't the way that I wanted it to be. And I was just kind of working. And my wife stopped one time and said, "Joe, are you okay?" And I started to tell her about what's going on. And then all of a sudden, as I'm talking out loud, I realize I just feel like I'm failing. And that was one of the few times I don't cry a lot, and one of the few times I just started bawling because I had to say out loud what's happening. And you brought that to that character, because once you have to say it out loud to someone, especially a friend, then that's when it
It's
starts to
huge.
set in and it feels real.
But it was interesting because I could relate a lot to this character.
Hmm.
Now, 2 degrees. Okay, there was certain things that I think when people watch the movie, you sit there and you're just like, I'm sorry, what? Like, like, and so when you're playing a character, you're for the murder mystery dinner theater that we do is interactive. Like, you're
Yeah,
that person. You
yeah,
become that person, and in Brooke's case, I felt for her. Like, I'm like, if this really happened to me, and that's why I hope to God you liked my performance. I mean, and I really, once again, it was just a big deal, like your first
hmm,
big baby. You have a lot of other success before this, but um, it's incorporating someone's true life story. So to sit there and like, there's certain things that I thought of during those moments that I've been through that it was kind of just like healing or and I don't know if you see it when I'm performing, but there's a lot of stuff that I could relate to her um that I think I don't know if you remember me saying, but it was just kind of like, oh my, like we would cut and I'd be like, just wanted you to know I think I loved every second of it. So
I did too. Thanks again. I'm gonna go skate in the garage with Alex. I told him I would skate.
will you tell
It's
Alex
not.
I said hi? And your
I will.
wife, she
Yes, I
was mean to
will.
me in that one taping and I never saw her after that.
All
Well,
right.
thank you
Thanks,
for your
Bridget.
time.
Yeah,
Bye.
appreciate you. All right, bye.